السلام عليكم. Welcome back to another episode of Quran Weekly, where we say hello to Romeo, where we take a look at the Quran, listen to it in Arabic, but discuss it in English. My name is Ahmad,
And my name is Safa.
and we're happy to take you on another journey. And we're continuing here on chapter 5, which is Surah Al-An'am. You can see it here from the top. Surah Al-An'am. We're continuing from verse 59, as per our last episode. Before we begin, we must always explain that we are not linguists. We are not specialized in the study of the Arabic language. We are also not specialized in the study of the Quran. We are merely going on a journey to discover and learn about the Quran, and we're hoping that you join us along the journey and you share with us your thoughts and perspectives. We in no way think that we know everything there is to know about the Quran, nor that our opinion is correct. So we encourage you, if you see something that you disagree with or see something that we say that maybe can be phrased better, please feel free to leave a comment. The more you do, the better, the more visibility this channel has. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe so that other people can see this channel and it can grow and we can spread the love of Quran. Is there anything that you want to say before we begin?
No.
Then let's drive straight into it. As usual, we always begin with "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim," which means I seek refuge from God from the devil, and in the name of God, who's most merciful and whose mercy is most encompassing. And off we go.
وعنده مفاتح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو ويعلم ما في البر والبحر وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين.
I just want to see, because it starts with wa, and wa it means and, so I wanted to see what the previous verse was.
It's not directly related to it.
Oh, yeah, it says, and God is most knowing of the wrongdoers, and God also knows the keys of the unseen, the keys of the unseen, the keys of the unknown, that nobody knows them except for Him, which obviously is referring to God, and He knows what is on land and what is in the sea, and what falls from any leaf, except that He knows it. Like, there's not a single leaf that falls except that He knows it, and there's not a grain in the darkness of the earth, and no dew or moistness, and no dryness, except it is in a record that is clear. So here it's talking about the knowledge of God and how every speck, every dust, every piece, every seed is within God's knowledge.
Yeah. And it mentions that God has the keys to the unknown or the unseen. And in the interpretation, they give many examples of that. Like, God is all-knowing of where you are born, where you will die, when the resurrection will be. All of this is considered within the unseen or the unknown that is only known by God. And then at the end, it mentions that everything is written in a perfect...
A clear record, yeah.
In a clear record or a book.
Yeah.
Or actually, it is book. And I looked a little bit into that, and they mentioned that there is something called Al-Lawh al-Mahfuz that is mentioned in the Quran. Al-Lawh al-Mahfuz means, I think, the
preserved board or tablet.
The preserved board. And the explanation of this and the interpretations is that there is a board where everything is written, like everything related to your life and everything that happens in this earth And they believe that this is all recorded from the time even before we were even born.
Is this the same thing that we read on the day of resurrection? Because I know at the day of resurrection, when we're raised up, I don't know if we've reached that part of the Quran yet, that you read you see the story of your whole life. You read all the actions, and everyone sees what they did and what they get confronted with their whole life, so to speak.
I don't know if this is the same thing, but it's mentioned that this preserved board is in other verses as well. Like examples of what is recorded in there. And like everything, there are many interpretations. So in most interpretations, they consider this as really a book that is preserved by God and only God knows about it, and everything is written there. But in Sufism, they consider that as the human souls. That within the human souls, everything is preserved, but it's a different.
But if we look at what is being said here, it's not talking about the human souls, except it's talking about what's in the land, what's in the sea, and what falls from leaves. And there's not a grain in the darkness of the earth. So it also talks about the earth. God has perfect knowledge of the earth and the moisture and the dryness.
That all of this is reserved in a certain book.
In a certain book.
Yeah, you can take it with a literal meaning that there is actually a book where everything is recorded. Yeah. But yeah, in Sufism there is a different view on a lot of topics, I would say. So this is also something that I read today.
Yeah. Somehow this ties me to the Garden of Eden and eating from the fruit of knowledge. The knowledge fruit is kind of like the forbidden information that is known only to God, and then that ties into the sin of Adam and Eve, that they wanted to see what was revealed only to God. But I don't know. This is a bit more of Christian mythology, Christian and Judaism, because they have more descriptions in the Quran, as far as I can see, with the fruit. It doesn't mention knowledge in the Quran.
I think so, yes. But this actually made me think about like fate and like if you think that everything is written before you were born, everything about your life, everything that you will do, where you will be born, where you will die, how it will happen, and everything, it makes you wonder a little bit of how much we are in control of our lives, or how it all works.
So there's an analogy from pop culture that I kind of want to use here, and there's a book called The Never-Ending Story that essentially the people living the story was as it was being written.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, yes, God knows all what's happening, but in the here and now, as from our perspective and from this reality, the future is completely uncertain and unknown. As it's the Quran
for
saying.
You, it's unknown, of course.
So all the choices matter, because the choices that you make will write the book down, and yes, God knows what's happening, but it's the choices that you make right now that determine what type of choice, what type of story it is. God knows what type of story it is, but you still have to act it and bring it to life.
Yeah, but it still makes you think, like, if everything is already written, then probably everything that I'm doing is just like... is already in a way known to God, that
it's known to God.
How much do I have, like, free will? How much free will I have in my life? The
free will, it's like God wrote it knowing your free will.
Yeah.
So God empowers you to do whatever you want. You want to do bad things will happen. You want to do good things will happen. And your story is including your choice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But anyway.
It is a big topic of discussion. I don't know how to say it, but it's like I think that a lot of philosophers and a lot of people were discussing all the time, like in all different ages, like how much free will and do people really have free will, or everything we do is predetermined by some factors in our lives.
I used to struggle with it as well. But that's why I use the analogy of the book, The Never Ending Story, because the way that you see it is the pages are blank,
Yeah.
and then when you live it, it starts writing. So in your mind, it's a written book.
For you, it's unknown.
Yeah,
Yes.
but that's kind of shifting your perspective, and because we don't have access to God's knowledge, we don't have access to the
Yeah.
unseen, so we have to treat it from the perspective that we're in.
Yeah.
Your choices do matter.
هو الذي يتوفاكم بالليل ويعلم ما جرحتم بالنهار ثم يبعثكم فيه ليقضى أجل مسمى ثم إليه مرجعكم ثم ينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون.
Okay, interesting perspectives. First of all, it starts with, and he is the one who takes your soul. Now, tawaffakum can also mean death,
Die.
to die. But here it's saying in the concept of separating the soul from the body, so to speak, at night. And he knows what you committed during the day. And it's interesting that they use jarahtum, which it feels like what you injured, but like if we just take it,
Yeah, but
the word for itself, what you hurt, what you injured. But jarahtum, it's kind of like, yeah, what you committed. I like the word, what you committed is what you committed during the day. And then he raises you up therein so that it is fulfilled for a fulfilled term. So he raises you up for a certain term that is specified.
which is your life.
Which is your life. And then to him will be your return. And then he will inform you of what you used to do. So this is what I was talking about. At the end of days, you get your whole life recounted to you. You can kind of see the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah. So I find it interesting, of course, the word يتوفاكم
Yeah.
at night, which is the same word that we use
For
when
death.
someone dies.
Yeah.
So yeah, does that mean that during the night is the same like when you're dead?
When you're dead.
I don't know.
But maybe there's some similarities between
Yeah.
the two that we don't fully understand.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting.
Yeah. And
It just means a separation of soul and body. And does our soul leave our bodies when we go to sleep? According to the
Yeah.
Quran, it seems to be the case, yes.
yeah. And then it says, and then he resurrects you in the
Yeah.
morning to complete your appointed term. And this also makes you think that, makes you believe that your life on earth is predetermined. Like when you were born and when you will die. Like you
Yeah.
have a pre-appointed term of life.
Is this for life or is this for the day?
It's for life, because then it says, and then to you will return.
And then you will return to him. But
So after this term is done, you will return to him.
Sure.
So this term is your life.
But after, like, yeah, but the way that I think about it is it possible that it's multiple terms, and then after all the terms, yeah,
If you say
we're
it
just
like in
yeah.
this way, it's just like you will complete a certain term, and then to God you will return,
Yeah.
and then He will tell you what you were doing.
Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is the best. So yeah, completing your life. I agree with you. I'm not saying that I don't. It's just interesting to think about it. But yeah, so God calls back your soul by night, knows what you do by day, revives you to complete your term, and to him is your ultimate return. Clear.
وهو القاهر فوق عباده ويرسل عليكم حفظة حتى إذا جاء أحدكم الموت توفته رسلنا وهم لا يفرطون.
Interesting. Quite a few things that are quite interesting here. First of all, it starts with, and he is the subjugator. subject, he reigns supreme. Al-Qahir is like the one who has power over you, over his slaves, and he sends over you guardians, which here it's record. The English translation below says recording angels, which he says over you guardians, so that when to any one of you death takes them, that's the word again, tawaffathu, takes their soul. So this is the same word that we were using for sleep, but using it for this. But this time it's saying death takes your soul. Then our messengers حفظه حتى إذا جاء.
It
So-
means like our messengers will take
guard.
his soul, like the توفته رسلنا.
حدكم الموت هو
So actually
توفته
it's
رسلنا.
talking, like in the interpretations, it's talking mainly about angels, that God sends angels. Here it's, and this is also what's in the interpretations, like these angels are recording everything that you do, or guardians over people in a way,
Yeah.
until death comes to one of you. Then at that time our messengers, which is also explained as our angels, take your soul. And the explanation for this is that there is an angel of death, and or
Azrael.
multiple,
Oh.
Azrael. He's the angel of death, and he's the one who takes away
Yeah.
the soul. And the last word is وهم لا يفرطون, means that they do not fail, or they do not
Neglect their duty.
neglect their duties.
Yeah. توفته رسلنا. So why is our messengers taking him? Why is it messenger?
The explanation, the interpretation of it is that these messengers are the angels.
I get that. First of all, I get that messengers can be angels, which is very
Yeah.
interesting. That Rasul can be angels, sure that.
Yeah.
But I would, just by the word messenger, Rusulana, it sounds like they convey a message. But here it's seeing that they're conveying a soul. They're taking a soul from one location to another.
Yeah, maybe they are also conveying a message. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I get that they're guardians over them so that they can kind of make sure that...
By the way, there is in this verse you don't see at all the word angel.
At all.
There is
It's
no
just-
angel at
it's-
all. But
it's just understood.
but all the interpretations, I think, are talking about angels.
Guardians and messengers. But everybody makes an understanding that this is about angels. And I kind of understand it. But also I'm just curious about why are these specific words being used here? Guardians
Yeah.
and messengers. Like guardians I kind of get. If you're spending your whole life monitoring and reviewing someone and checking to make sure that what they've been doing and recording it in a book, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
But messengers to take their souls confuses me a little. But that's okay. Let's continue, I suppose.
Yeah.
ثم ردوا إلى الله مولاهم الحق ألا له الحكم وهو أسرع الحاسبين.
All right, it says, and then they are returned to God, their protector in truth. Unquestionably, for him is the judgment, and he is the swiftest of reckoners, the swiftest people who rule out judgment.
So here, in a way, it tells you what happens after you're
dead. After you're dead, you're taken to God, and
Yeah.
judgment will be brought, and judgment will be brought in truth. Mawlahum al-Haq, the true master of, not in truth, but yeah, the true master, the true protector. Mawlahum could be protector, could be master. Yeah, it does translate here to master. Yeah, so everyone goes back to God, and to God we all belong.
Yeah, and this made me think that in a way death takes you to God, in a way, like the way the verses come after each other.
Yeah.
It makes you think like this is the...
Well, earlier it said God takes your soul when you're asleep. So even before death.
No, but it doesn't say that God takes your soul. It just uses the same word as death during your sleep. So I
Yeah.
know it makes you think that during your sleep you die and then you wake up again, but it doesn't tell you that God takes your soul.
So here it said يتوفاكم means takes your soul, and the translation is or calls back your souls by night.
But
But-
this is the English translation.
Yeah,
but the Arabic word,
I know it means death.
it means you just die.
But
يتوفاكم
the way
is,
that I'm understanding, who takes your soul? Yeah. Translated from Urdu, no boo boo. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I could translate it from Urdu, but it's translated from Arabic. So, because tawaffa is to like separate the soul from the body or take the soul from the body. So it can mean death, but I think from the literal translation, it means to separate the soul from the body. That's what I understand.
Honestly, I don't know. From my Arabic, like our day-to-day Arabic, when you say tawaffa,
Yeah, it usually just means die.
it just means that he died.
Yeah.
You know.
But there's more depth to it when you're thinking about the afterlife and you're thinking about sleep.
Yeah.
But anyway, we all go back to God. And
But for
God is,
sure, what is mentioned is that after you
Die,
die,
you go
then
to-
at
you
that
go to-
point your soul goes to God.
قل من ينجيكم من ظلمات البر والبحر تدعونه وخفية لئن أنجانا من هذه لنكونن من الشاكرين.
Say, who saves you from the darkness of the land and the sea, when you call upon him to humbly and secretly, so that if he would only save us from this, then surely we will be of the grateful ones. And this reminds me of a Sam Smith song that the song's called Pray. And even though he says in the song that I don't believe in you much, he says at the end, everybody prays sometime.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful message, and this is kind of exactly what it talks about. Like, when things get really bad, people pray.
Yeah.
People pray for guidance, for help, for peace, for something. And this is the type of prayer. If only he saves us from this, then surely we will be of the thankful ones.
Yeah.
God, if you get me out of this, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. Like, it's such a common human experience to pray and seeking refuge from God. So
Yeah, and here it mentions that God is the only one who can rescue you from your darkest times in a way.
yeah, and it's not saying God is saying the one who can rescue you, but it's telling the prophet and whoever is reading this, say who is going to save you from the darkness and the land and the sea. So it's kind of like a question: who's going to save you when you're at your rock bottom? There's only one, which also kind of made me think of the polytheists and the people that pray to other entities, and I'm like, do they pray to other entities in times of crisis? Like, I'm just,
Yeah.
or does it when things get really bad, they switch to praying to God? I don't know.
I don't know.
So it's
But I think in the last time we read a verse that says like that only God can save you.
Yeah.
Even if you pray to these other gods.
Yeah.
Only God can save you, and it's the same meaning in this one as well. It's like who else would save you other than God?
Yeah, I understand the same for sure.
Yeah.
قل الله ينجيكم منها ومن كل كرب ثم أنتم تشركون.
Say, God saves you from it and from every distress, then you are associating partners with gods.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
this is also a very common human thing.
Yeah.
That you pray to God, and then when things
Right.
get better, then you just forget about it and just do anything else.
yeah, like I've seen people make fun of it with like a doctor saves a person's life, They go like, oh, you shouldn't thank the God. You should thank the doctor, the one who went through all the medical procedures. But then that kind of ties into the whole, if you pray to God and God is saving you, the means of which he saves you is great, is God's tool, but that doesn't mean the means is the cause of the saving. But let's not get too...
Yeah, this is very philosophical. I would thank the doctor too, but
it's both. It's not, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know that God like has the ultimate decision.
Yeah.
I don't know how to call it, but like
and here it's saying not just about thanks, it's about saying associating a partner other than God in worship.
Yeah.
Okay.
قل هو القادر على أن يبعث عليكم عذابا من فوقكم أو من تحت أرجلكم أو يلبسكم شيعا ويذيق بعضكم بأس بعض انظر كيف نصرف الآيات لعلهم يفقهون.
Okay, bit of a complex topic. Say, he is the all-capable so that he is able to send upon you torment, punishment, from above you or from below, beneath your feet, or he... Yulabiskum? Here it says confuse you.
It makes you into different groups. Shi'an is like groups.
Yeah,
so
but Yulbisakum...
makes you separated into different groups.
I get that, but I'm trying to see the translation of confuse you doesn't make...
No,
it doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Yelbisakum also means like to dress you. Let's see the word itself. Or he will clothe you, yeah. So to dress you into sects, and I like that, to put you into sects. And yes. I like the way that you wear the sect, like you wear it as an identity.
But honestly, I don't think of it as you wear as much, and this is why I think the Arabic language is much more sophisticated than English.
Yeah.
So this is why sometimes the English translation is not very accurate.
But in my head, that analogy, that metaphor of wearing your tribe makes sense, metaphorically speaking, not literally.
But I don't think that here it's... but anyway,
to put the tribe upon
because
you.
Because in Arabic, I think that sometimes the same word can describe different things.
Yeah.
So here, I don't think it's related to wearing something.
Like for instance, you can wear your honor. Do you know what I mean? You wear your honor on your face. It's something that you adopt and you adorn. It's a metaphor of putting it upon yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the metaphor of wearing, not literally wearing your tribes or sects. But either way, we're both agreeing that he puts you into different sects and tribes.
Yeah.
And he makes you taste, some of you, the violence of some others. And then it says, see how we explain the signs so that they may understand. Now, this is a very powerful expression because it's saying that sometimes war, sometimes suffering, sometimes pain, sometimes torment is all a part of God's plan. And it's a part of his explanation of why these things are happening. There's a rhyme and reason to everything in the world, including tasting the violence from others. It's kind of like, it's such a profound, because a lot of times people say, well, if God exists, why are wars happening? Why are people torturing others? Why is there rape, stealing, pillaging, murder?
Yeah.
And here it's saying that this is a part of God's system and signs, and that we should try and understand it, so to speak, which I think is very, very powerful.
Yeah. And of course, in the interpretations, it mentions a lot of examples of like the first part, specifically like the torment from above you or below you, because there are many stories in the Quran about people who were completely destroyed. Like, for example, the people, Qawm Nuh, Noah's people, and Lut.
Yeah, Lut, the prophet Lut, Sodom and Gomorrah.
That they were all completely destroyed by
floods
or things that came from nature.
Yeah.
So these are all examples of like when
Death
here
from above.
yes, death from above or from below, or like torment
Yeah.
from above or below. And here it says that only God is capable of this, of creating such a torment. And then, as you mentioned, it talks also about dividing people into different groups or into different sects, and then these sects they fight among each other, or they have wars among each other, and then you you taste each other's strength or violence in a way. And these are all signs from God for those people who can really comprehend and think about it. So like you mentioned, that all of these things are at the end of the day all signs from God.
Which I think is powerful. I mean, it's also the biggest crux that a lot of atheists have with the religion, is that why are there such terrible things if God exists? And here God is saying the terrible things are a part of his signs and a part of this whole system, this whole life, this whole perspective. If only we were to understand.
وكذب به قومك وهو الحق قل لست عليكم بوكيل.
But denied him his people, your people. وكذب به قومك.
It's talking about the Quran according to the interpretation. So your people denied it.
For me, I would say if it's following from the previous one, it's denying the signs. But I completely understand that denying the Quran is what's being rejected here. Your people, while it is in truth, say, I'm not over you a manager, a keeper. I'm not a keeper over you, which is kind of like, it's a powerful expression to the Prophet, telling him that, even though they deny your signs, you're not responsible for them.
So say I'm not wakil is actually
an agent, kind of.
Agent, exactly. It means agent, or someone who can be like monitoring you. At least over in the interpretations, it also mentions like, I'm not going to be watching over what you do in any way or responsible for it.
I was going to start reading it myself.
لكل نبأ مستقر وسوف تعلمون.
Beautifully short and beautifully powerful. For every news is a fixed time, and soon you will know. Like, everything happens exactly when it's supposed to, and you can kind of, if you slow yourself down enough and you really like meditate and think, then you really realize how everything is perfectly the way it's supposed to be, even the struggles that you're facing, even the time and the frustration. And it just seems like sometimes we want things to be so different than what they are, but the reality is the struggle is a part of the journey. It is a part of, you have to be in the struggle in order for you to learn something, in order for you to grow, in order for you to adapt. In order for you to appreciate what you have even more.
But not everyone, from what we're reading, not everyone appreciates more. So some people come to this conclusion through hardship, that they learn to appreciate things more and they become stronger, and some people go the complete other way.
And they refuse to accept. But for me, this statement, at least logically speaking, the way that I think about it is that everything happens at the right time. And being frustrated about your current circumstance is not understanding why your current circumstance is the way that it is. It's, for every news is a fixed time. What's happening to you right now is fixed, and there's a reason for it. And soon you will know. So I like to borrow from the peace of the future sometimes. When you're stuck in negativity, I like to think about, there's going to be a future time when this is gone. Can I borrow from that peace of mind? Can I try and set myself on a fixed future point in time so that I don't suffer as much? Because you can do that from the past. You can go to the past and say, oh, I've had happy moments, and then get joy from the past. Or you can say, I've had negative moments in the past and feel down. you can also do it for future sight. And the way that I do it is by accepting the here and now. It's like a very Zen statement to say that.
And in the interpretations, they also relate that to the previous verse. So if you relate it to the previous one, that is related to Quran, so it can be also talking to the people who rejected the Quran, and it's saying that everything that is mentioned there will be proven in a way, and soon they will know that it's true.
Sure, okay, yeah. I can kind of see that, yeah. Because, Naba is also kind of like, it is news, but it's like...
It can be any matter.
Any
like,
happening, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe. But yeah, powerful, short but powerful.
Yeah.
وإذا رأيت الذين يخوضون في آياتنا فأعرض عنهم حتى يخوضوا في حديث غيره وإما ينسينك الشيطان فلا تقعد بعد الذكرى مع القوم الظالمين.
Wow, okay, lots to dissect and very interesting. First, and when you see those that are engaging in vain talks about our verses, about the Quranic verses, then turn away from them until they engage in a talk that is different, a talk that is other than that. And here it says something very, very interesting. And if the devil causes you to forget, if what causes you to forget is the devil, then do not sit after the reminder with the people that are wrongdoers. Which this also talks about the humanity of the prophet, for example. And that it's possible that even the prophet can be caused to forget something by the devil, and that sometimes he needs reminders, because in the end of the day, he's also a human. And it's saying after the reminder, don't sit after the reminder with the people that are doing wrong. It's just because we're good people doesn't mean that the devil doesn't have power over us. And just because we're trying our best, we will forget sometimes what's right and what's wrong. But the main message here is if they're talking idly, kind of just, or here it says ridicule. It's not It's not exactly ridicule, because then it says the same word يخوضون في حديث غيره, until they engage in a talk other than it. What does it mean by itself?
To get into something.
To get into something, right? Until they plunge into it. حتى يخوضوا into it. Yeah, so if they talk about our verses, then stay away from them until they talk about something else.
But of course here, like if they are talking about it in a negative way, or
we
like
understand.
they are ridiculing it in a way.
Cool. Yeah, powerful verse.
وما على الذين يتقون من حسابهم من شيء ولكن ذكرى لعلهم يتقون.
And it's not for those who fear God or are mindful. I like the word mindful better. Of their account from anything. So
it means that the ones who are mindful will not have any blame. It will not be held accountable for those people who are ridiculing
or talking in vain about the Quran. But a reminder so that they may be mindful. Their duty is
to remind them.
So this is to me, to you, to everyone. If you're around this type of talk, so your job isn't to, you're not going to be held responsible for them, so you don't have to be aggressive or anything. You don't have to change it. You just have to tell them, by the way, this isn't good. This isn't right. This is, you should take things more seriously or have a little bit more respect. And if they don't, then just walk away.
Yeah.
فذر الذين اتخذوا دينهم لعبا ولهوا وغرتهم الحياة الدنيا وذكر فذكر به أن تبسل نفس بما كسبت ليس لها من دون الله ولي ولا شفيع ليس لها من دون الله ولي ولا شفيع وإن تعدل كل عدل لا يؤخذ منها أولئك الذين أبسلوا بما كسبوا لهم شراب من حميم وعذاب أليم بما كانوا يكفرون.
Okay, bit of a long verse. All right. And leave those that take their religion as a play and amusement, and they're deluded in the life of the world, because they're deluded by the world, the world around them.
I think that actually غرتهم is like seduce them. It's like life of this world.
They're like
seduce them.
enticed by the world, enticed by the vision of the world that they see it, and that's why they take religion as a game and amusement. But remind with it, وذكر به, lest تبسل, that's a new one for me. تبسل نفسهم بما كسبت. But remind with it, lest destruction be given to the soul or the self for what it has earned. It is not for it, without God, any protector or any intercessor. Nobody can get in the way of what it has earned.
I went through my notes, so it means just remind them that every
soul can be destroyed by what it has earned. And it's not for it from without God, any protector or any intercessor. Nobody steps in the way, to be able to offer ransom. Every ransom will not be taken from it. So there's no ransom that can be taken. There's nothing that can be exchanged for what a soul has earned. Those are the ones who are given up to destructions for what they have earned, and for them, a drink of boiling water, like it's just such a visual, is so horrible, and a punishment that is painful because they used to disbelieve. Very, very dark imagery and very powerful imagery for but this is talking about you get what you deserve. You kind of all your job is to remind them that don't take the religion in games, and be careful. And usually after every mention of boiling water and punishment, there should be a mention of positivity, but we'll see.
Not really, I think this time.
قل أندعو من دون الله ما لا ينفعنا ولا يضرنا ونرد على أعقابنا بعد إذ هدانا الله كالذي استهوته الشياطين في الأرض حيران له أصحاب يدعونه إلى الهدى ائتنا قل إن هدى الله هو الهدى وأمرنا لنسلم لرب العالمين.
Okay. Say, shall we call from without God what does not benefit us and does not harm us? And we turn our backs on our heels, or we turn back
to the way we were.
after when it was guided us God. We turn back after God
After
had
we have been guided.
by God. It's like the one who has been enticed by the devil, no, shayateen, because it says plural, the devils, the compatriots of Satan, in the earth. They're confused by the enticements.
So this person is like confused.
And he has friends that call to him for guidance. They say, "Come to us." And what you should say to those friends that call to us with guidance, that are parts of devil's followers, say, indeed, the only guidance is God's guidance, and his guidance, and he is, well, in Hudallahu huwa al-huda. Okay,
So
God's guidance
is
is
the
the guidance. And we have been commanded to submit to God, the world of our lords.
Yeah, but here it talks about friends who call him to guidance.
Yeah.
So it's like the image is like if someone has been seduced by the devil or like guided away from the right path by the devil, and then he still has friends who call him to the guidance, but he's in the middle, he's like confused. He doesn't know which way to go. And then tell him that God's guidance is the real guidance, and we have been ordered to submit to God.
Somehow I got the impression that they're calling him to more
They're
of
calling him to
to-
the guidance come.
Yeah,
Come to us to the guidance.
come to the guidance. I know,
Yeah.
but I don't think that they're offering actual guidance, because the thing that it says next, say indeed the guidance of God is what is guidance. So it is
Okay.
separating between their guidance and the guidance of God in my mind, in my understanding of it.
That they have their own guidance.
That they're claiming to have guidance, but the guidance, or say indeed the guidance of God is guidance. Hudallahu.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, the first what I mentioned makes more sense to me. That he's confused because the devils have guided him astray, and then he has people calling him to guidance, and it says to the prophet, say yes, the guidance of God is the guidance.
For me, inna hudallahu huwa al-huda. Indeed, the guidance of God, that is the only guidance. And here, interesting that they added only. It doesn't mention only, but that's what I understood from it.
Yeah, and this is true. This is the true meaning.
Yeah.
But our discussion is about friends, because he said like friends are calling him to the other way, but I think they are calling him to the guidance, and then it says, say indeed God's guidance is the only guidance.
Yeah, for me,
but it doesn't matter. Like it's such a small detail. But this is also what's mentioned in what I read today. So.
Yeah. But anyway, it kind of says someone who's been enticed by the devil, tell them that God's guidance is the right guidance. And we have been commanded to submit to our Lord, the world of the lords, the Lord of the worlds.
وأن أقيموا الصلاة واتقوه وهو الذي إليه تحشرون.
So God's guidance is the only guidance, and establish prayer and be mindful of Him, so that He is the one, because He is the one that you will be gathered to.
هو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق ويوم يقول كن فيكون قوله الحق وله الملك يوم ينفخ في الصور عالم الغيب والشهادة وهو الحكيم الخبير.
Okay, and the last verse of the section is, and He is the one who created the heavens and the earth in truth, and وَيَوْمَ يَقُولُ, and the day that He says, be, so it is. this is a very powerful combination because it's the same word, kun fayakun. They're both the same origin of the word. It's like saying be so it will be. So how to speak?
Yeah, and it might be referring to the creation of the heavens of the and the
Yeah.
earth.
Yeah.
That yeah, I find it actually. I thought a lot about the word in truth. If you go like to
Yeah.
the beginning, he created the heavens and the earth
in truth.
in truth. I don't know what this really means. Maybe someone can tell us in the comments if they have any. Because I went through many interpretations and it just says that it's in truth. Like this is the truth, or it can mean like this is what guides you to know that God exists. This creation of the heavens and earth.
I don't like the way that I would understand it is that it's more a testament to how everything is created like correctly. Like this world is created, in my opinion, it's a good world, and it's one that's governed by guidance and justice. So that even every like it counter arguments for me is people say, why are terrible things happening? Why is cancer? Why is this? Why is that? And all of these things are done in truth, or they're done in God's grand design. So for me, it's a testament to how manifest God's goodness is.
Yeah,
But that's my own perspective.
In truth, I think is a very interesting.
It is. It is interesting to think about.
Yeah, that the earth and heavens were created in truth, or in in truth. It just means in truth. It can be also what I read is that for the truth, so that it shows you the truth. This can also be a possible explanation for it, that it's like to show the truth. But anyway, and then the day that he says be so it becomes, it can also refer to the creation of the heavens and the earth, because in Islam this is how God created the heavens and the earth. That for him he just said be so it becomes, and then this is a word that we use like for everything actually, because like it's there's another verse that says like whenever God wants something, it's enough for him to just say be so it becomes. That's how easy for God to make something happen.
And his word is the truth, and that's why it's also like the word, the heavens and the earth were created by his word, and his words is the truth. And for him is the dominion. On the day that the trumpets will be blown, he is the all-knowing of the unseen and the seen, and he is the all-wise and all-aware. Glory be to him.
Yeah, and the day that the trumpets will be blown is the resurrection day, according to Islamic knowledge.
Yeah.
That this is, I think, one of the signs of resurrection, that trumpets will be blown, and then that will mean that this is the day of resurrection.
Yeah. I always used to have a struggle with how glorified God is in the Quran, and how many times it's mentioned that God is great and God is fantastic. And I always used to think from a simple-minded human term, why does God need all this? What I was thinking is validation. But that's because I was thinking of it from my ego perspective. When I tell people I'm great and I'm amazing and I'm fantastic as a human, I'm using it for validation. But God is so above and beyond it. And the bigger my ego was, the more I had a problem with mentioning the glory and greatness of God.
Yeah.
And the more humble I become, the more that I am, like the more that you become happy for, not even, I mean, God is the ultimate example, but also for your fellow humans. So if you see somebody boasting and walking around like, oh, I'm so good, I'm so amazing, it will only bother you if you have a big ego. If you don't have a big ego, then you can be happy for them and you can, enjoy it. So it's just a tie between ego and praising God. And the bigger my ego was, the harder it was for me to accept God's praise for some reason.
وإذ قال إبراهيم لأبيه آزر أتتخذ أصناما آلهة إني أراك وقومك في ضلال مبين
Story time. I love story time in the Quran. I love stories. Okay, and when said Abraham to his father Azar, do you take these idols, these statues, these stones as gods? Indeed, I see you and your people in an error, in a like not error, but like in misguidance. Yeah, like you're kind of lost in confusion. That is very apparent. You're entirely misguided. It's very apparent that you are misguided. Also, there's an interesting part about the Abraham story, but I don't know if we're gonna get to it in this. I don't think we're gonna get to it in this version.
I don't know
When he destroys the statues, the asnam, and then he puts the tool on the biggest statue, and so they come to him. They're like, "Why did you destroy the statue?" And then he says, "No, it was the biggest statue that destroyed all the statues."
No, it's not here.
We'll get to it at a later stage. I won't discuss it early then.
وكذلك نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض وليكون من الموقنين.
Okay, interesting. And thus we showed Abraham the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, so that he would be from among those who are certain.
Yeah.
What?
That he was guided in a way.
Yeah, I get that he was guided, but he's saying, and thus, when all I mentioned was that do you take the idols as gods? I see you and your people in a guide. You're seriously misguided, and that way we show Abraham the kingdom of the heavens and the earth.
But it's not in that way. I think what kazalika means, like it can also mean like we also showed Abraham the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, so that he becomes of those who are sure in their faith.
Okay.
Who are certain in their faith.
So maybe not tied to the previous verse, but also in addition to the previous verse, we showed Abraham the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, so that he may be of the ones who are certain.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And in Surah Al-Baqarah, in chapter 2, when we were listening to it, we even know that from Abraham, he also had doubt with God, and God told him to put a bird, take a bird and split it into 4 parts and put it in 4 different mountains. And then with the word of God, all the parts came back together.
Returned together, And here he's talking about another situation with Abraham.
Yeah.
In the next verses, he will talk also about.
Yeah, but it's interesting that he's saying that he's one of the ones that are certain, even though in a previous verse we also saw uncertainty from Abraham. So even those that are guided and with certainty, they still have the possibility to forget, the possibility to be.
It shows a little bit the journey of Abraham in the next verses, like that he was wondering at the beginning how to. Yeah.
فلما جن عليه الليل رأى كوكبا قال هذا ربي فلما أفل قال لا أحب الآفلين.
Interesting.
So this was like the journey of Abraham until he reached the point of being a firm believer
the messenger
in God.
So when covered for him the night, when the night covered over him, he saw a star. Kaukaban means planet. But they see star because that's something that you can see in very strongly, and it's not, you can't really see planets that much. He said, "This is my Lord." When he looked at the planet, the star, the celestial being, this is my Lord. But then when it set, when it disappeared, when it was no longer visible, he said, "I do not like the ones that are set, the ones that are."
The ones that go away.
The go away. I don't know why the word set is. It has set. Like the sun has set. It's in that sense. I do not love things that are set. So this is God, but I don't love things
Yeah,
that
I also
disappear.
find the English translation a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Because if I would understand it like in Arabic, I would say like when it went away,
Yeah.
he said, I don't like
Things that went
things
away.
that go away.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
فلما رأى القمر بازغا قال هذا ربي فلما أفل قال لئن لم يهدني ربي لأكونن من القوم الضالين.
It is a beautiful journey as well. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So then when he saw the moon rising, he said, "This is my Lord." And then when it set, when it disappeared, he said, if I am not guided by God, by my Lord, then surely I will be of among the people that are misguided and led astray. And it really shows you that Abraham was trying to find the answer, trying to find God, trying to find what the purpose was, and like finding something and seeing if that's it, but then realizing it's not it. And then in the end, he kind of says, if God doesn't guide me, I am not going to be guided. He kind of understands, which I think is a very powerful statement. Guidance only comes from God.
فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي هذا أكبر فلما أفلت قال يا قوم إني بريء مما تشركون.
Interesting. It doesn't say that his people were worshiping the sun, but you kind of can sort of understand a little bit. So when he saw the sun rising, he said, "This is my Lord. This is bigger, greater." And then when it set, he said, "Oh, my people, I am innocent or free from what you associate with God." So they were worshiping the sun at that time, I would imagine. As well as the clients. And it's like you can see him going through multiple iterations of belief.
إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين.
Okay. And then he said, "Indeed, I have turned my face to the one who created," I like the word fatara, created the heavens and the earth, hanifan, upright. Yeah, upright, not a true monotheist. They created the heavens and the earth. For me, this is what it translates to truth.
Yeah.
Created the heavens and the earth in the right way, in the correct way, in the true way. And so here it says hanifan is like structured and upright. And I am not of the polytheists. So he had the belief first.
But I think here upright is referring to Abraham, no?
إني وجهت وجهي إلى الذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا. Yeah, he could be a true monotheist.
It's referring to
Okay, it's referring to
Abraham,
himself.
that he's like, and they use this word a lot, Hanifan.
Yeah, true. That makes sense. And I am not one of the polytheists. I'm not one of the ones. Which is interesting. This is before God gives him any signs. He kind of had this faith within him, I think, if I understand it correctly.
I am not sure. Because, in Surah Al-Baqarah, we saw, like, the story you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So...
But I think that comes at a later point in time.
He was guided by God in a way, of course. Yeah.
Sure. But anyway, let's see.
وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء
Yeah, so here it does answer that he was guided by God. So it says
Yeah.
it specifically. But his people argued with him. So he said, "Do you argue with me concerning God, while he certainly has guided me? I do not fear what you associate with him, unless if he wills my Lord, unless if my Lord wills anything." And then my Lord encompasses everything in knowledge. And then أفلا تتذكرون. Then do
Would
you
you not
not
be-
taking heed?
Will you not be mindful?
Do you not, yeah,
Be mindful or remember.
remember, be mindful, will you not think about
Yeah.
what he's saying? So to God, none can harm me unless my Lord wills it. My Lord encompasses everything in his knowledge. Will you not be mindful? أفلا تتذكرون. Which is, I like the expression of do you not, like تتذكرون also means remember.
Remember, yeah.
And I think this is kind of like, you remember. For me, the power in this is that the allegory of our fall from heaven is that we were created as perfect beings and then we were brought down to earth. And this is something that I continuously think about. And it's not just Adam and Eve. Like there's an ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا. That was the wrong one. Sorry, I was والضحى والليل والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى. Okay, let me just say the verse that I'm trying to remember which one. I've learned a lot of Quranic verses recently, but the point is, لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. We have created man in the best shape. ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين. Then we brought him down to the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
And I think those two phrases for me, and it ties back to the comment we've said before, that we were born with full knowledge and full awareness of God, but we forget along with the way that we shape into this world. So
and
here,
there is once I read that also, and I don't know the origin of this, but that we all witnessed God before we were born.
yeah,
So it's just that we cannot remember this anymore.
Yeah.
But like in a way, our soul or however it is that we witnessed God, and we even said that we admit that He is the one true God. But
Yeah.
then you forget about it.
yeah.
So yeah, and would you not be mindful or would you not remember? I think this is a phrase that is repeated a lot in the Quran.
Yeah,
So it must be referring to something that we already know,
Yeah.
but then we forget about it.
and we saw earlier in this phrase, even when God was talking to the prophet, He said, "If the devil makes you forget."
Yeah,
So it's a very human condition to forget things, and a very human condition to not remember things, and that's
Yeah.
kind of where the devil plays as well.
yeah, and in Arabic actually, now that you're talking about forgetting things, insane, which means human being,
Yeah.
it comes from
The term,
nisyan.
yeah, the
It
term,
comes from forgetting.
Yeah.
Like in Arabic, the word insane is like, I don't know, insane is person or like a human. But it comes from forgetting. It refers to the fact that people forget all the time.
It's not man, it's human. Oh my god. Yeah, human. I mean, can we do a Nessa?
What do you want? Like forgot?
Yeah, I'm trying to do. Forgot. I just wanted to visualize it. Yeah, forget.
Yeah.
Human forget. So it's the same origin of the word.
Yeah, it's the same. It's just a variation
Just a variation
of the same
of humans.
word.
Of humans. Take the word forgotten. Nessa. Which is very interesting. I never knew that human was a variation of forget, but as soon as you said it, I was like,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. So yeah, so that you will take heed, but we prefer the term "will you remember?" So
Yeah.
I love that it says the answer is within all of us, and all you have to do is remember, and this is what the guidance is for. Cool, beautiful. I love that poetry. I love that image.
وكيف أخاف ما أشركتم ولا تخافون أنكم أشركتم
And how could I fear what you associate with God while
You are not afraid
you are
that
not
you
afraid that
associate
you
it.
associated with God? What is not what He has not sent down for it. ما لم ينزل به عليكم سلطانا. What has not been brought down to you by any authority.
Yeah, and now I got confused, but it means like why would I be afraid of what you have associated with God while you are not afraid that you have associated with God things that were not ordered by Him?
Yeah.
So which group is the most right? Or the most truthful, and the one who is more deserving of security,
Yeah. If you are
if you really know. So do you think that I should be afraid of what you have associated with God, and you should not be afraid that you have associated these things with God? So he's asking the question, which of these two groups is more deserving of security?
I get it, but I don't get it. Like I get the question up front, why should I fear your associated gods while you have no fear in associating others with God, even though He didn't reveal anything to you?
Yeah.
And I think it ties back to, do you remember? Because then it talks about it as if they should know.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what I'm missing. He does talk to them as if you should know, like, there is a creator, and he didn't kind of clarify what your direction should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون.
Again, we get that word yelbisu, which I like the word.
Mix. It means mix.
Yeah. Okay. I just like the term wear because for me it visualizes it, like it visualizes beautifully. Like it's a metaphorical wearing. It's a miracle.
But I will show you here. Here it's very clear that it doesn't mean wear in any way.
Anyway, those who believed and did not mix their belief with injustice, with wrong, those are the ones whose security and they are rightly guided.
So this is the answer to the question in the previous verse.
Yeah.
And here it's very clear that it's not wear, because it's like they mix their faith with injustice.
Like in my mind, it makes sense metaphorically.
Faith will not wear something, like.
But like you're wearing honor. It's one of those metaphors. I think it makes more sense in Arabic than it does in English. But in my head, you wear honor. It's not literal.
I know what you mean, but I don't think that
who don't wear darkness with their honor.
Because I think yelbis is one of these words that can have multiple meanings.
Yeah.
It can mean to wear something, but it can also mean to mix things together or to confuse things in a way, like things are confused for you. Like
I'm saying that it is mixed. I am saying it is confused, but I'm saying that for me, wear can mean mix and confuse.
Okay.
Like it's a weird way of explaining. Like I'm not saying that it doesn't mean mix and confuse. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that from my perspective. Anyway, those who do not tarnish their faith with falsehood are the ones who are guaranteed security and are rightly guided.
Yeah, and here you can see that they mix their faith with injustice.
Yeah.
And this is something that we saw the last time also, that it is referred to associating other gods with God is referred to as injustice, as doing injustice in multiple places in the Quran.
Yeah.
وتلك حجتنا آتيناها إبراهيم على قومه نرفع درجات من نشاء إن ربك حكيم عليم.
interesting, and it reminds me of a verse in chapter 2, but let's get to this first. This was our argument that we gave to Abraham over his people. So this is what the argument that you should tell them. You should tell them above. Why should I fear God, your gods, whereas you shouldn't fear the fact that you're associating somebody else with God? And then we raise in degrees whoever we will. We elevate in rank whoever we please. Indeed, your Lord is all wise and all knowing. Now we've seen this expression, we raise in degrees, in chapter 2 when they were talking about all the messengers and all the prophets. And then God said we raise some of them in degrees over the others. Yeah. And then it specifically mentions Jesus, son of Mary, which for me translated to, it sounds like he's the highest of degrees, but it doesn't explicitly say that, so we can't say.
Yeah,
but here,
I think we disagreed also on this point.
Yeah.
That you thought that it's like Jesus has the highest degree, but I think in the same chapter it was mentioning that for us, we should like honor follow all the messengers and all the prophets.
But we see the phrase, we raise by degrees who we will. And this is kind of showing, like, why was Abraham chosen over the rest of his tribe? Yeah. And it was because God's decision to choose him over his tribe.
Exactly.
And indeed, God is all wise and all knowing.
Yeah.
Okay, and we bestowed upon him Isaac and Jacob, Ishaq wa Yaqub.
Yeah, so Abraham had 2 sons.
Yeah.
Isaac and Ismail.
No, and Ishaq wa Yaqub. Isaac and Jacob, not Ismail.
No,
there was
Jacob is the son of Isaac. Yeah. So Abraham had 2 sons. Isaac and Ismail. Yeah, I think only 2, but definitely he had like Isaac and Ismail are his sons, and then Jacob is the son of Isaac. So actually, Jacob is his grandson.
Okay.
Is the grandson of Abraham.
But at the moment, it's just saying, and we bestowed upon him Isaac and Jacob, which they're both
They are both from his lineage.
Possible that it's saying that. Well, it's not saying that they're both from his lineage, but it's not saying their relationship to each other. It's possible that what you're saying is true.
Yeah. No, it's not possible. It's like in the interpretation. It is true.
I need the Quranic verse primarily.
Jacob is not his son.
I just want to see the story. Wait until we get to the story of Jacob and Isaac. Yeah. And then we will get more information. We will hear more about them in the Quran.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, it was gifted Isaac and Jacob.
Who were both guided.
Who were both guided. Kullan Hudayna, both guided. And Noah, we guided from before, and from his descendants are David, Solomon, Job.
Ayub.
Job, yeah, I'm just trying to do the English names. Joseph, Moses, Aaron, and thus we reward the good doers.
Yeah, so these are all the descendants from Noah.
And from Noah. And
they're not all from Abraham.
They're not all from Noah. Yeah, and we know that Isaac and Jacob were specifically from Abraham.
Yes.
But from Noah, we gifted from before him David, Solomon, Job, Joseph. Okay, I'm not going to do this again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and some relations are mentioned in the interpretation. So actually, Sulaiman is the son of David. So here it says
David
from his descendants, David and Solomon.
Yeah.
Solomon is the son of David. Joseph is the son of Jacob, who's the son of Isaac. And Moses is from the descendants of Jacob as well.
Yeah.
And Harun is the brother of Moses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they all come
From the lineage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend that once told me, "Isn't it a coincidence how they're all related?" But it kind of feels like it's kind of the point of it. But you know, let's not get into philosophical discussions.
Yeah.
وزكريا ويحيى وعيسى وإلياس كل من الصالحين.
All right. And Zachariah and John apparently,
Yeah.
and Jesus and Elijah, all were of the righteous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
وإسماعيل واليسع ويونس ولوطا وكلا فضلنا على العالمين.
Okay, and it continues. And Ismail and Elisha and Eunice and Lut, all we had preferred over the worlds. These were the preferred and the glorified messengers.
Yeah. So these are all names of prophets.
Yeah, prophets, messengers.
Messengers from God. And Ismail is the son of Ibrahim. And
Yeah, because it was the story of Ismail that was the sacrifice, right?
yes, Ismail is the son of Ibrahim.
Abraham was commanded by God to sacrifice Ismail, and Ismail had such faith that he told his dad that, yeah, you should do it. And then just before he did it, he sent a sheep to kind of replace. But yeah.
Yeah.
But interesting that he puts him over here instead of in the first group.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Just curious.
ومن آبائهم وذرياتهم وإخوانهم واجتبيناهم وهديناهم إلى صراط مستقيم.
Yeah, this is interesting. And of their fathers and their descendants and their brothers and those, and we chose them and we guided them towards a path that is straight. I like this expression because it also teaches you that it's not just them that were chosen; all the ones around them are chosen and guided by God to some extent, so that they can become the best version of themselves.
Yeah, but it's some of them because so it says from some of their fathers and some of their descendants, and it's mentioned in the interpretation that not all their fathers were believers, not the whole.
Yeah,
and not all of them had descendants as well. Like Jesus and John, I think, didn't have any descendants. So it mentions that from some of their fathers and some of their descendants, there were believers that were also.
It technically doesn't say some, but it is understood.
No, it does say some.
Women and from
their fathers. So this means like from
okay,
among
and from their fathers and
like some of their fathers, from among their fathers and from among their descendants and their brothers.
Okay.
There are some that we have chosen and guided.
Yeah, towards the straight path. I'll give you that. Sure.
Yeah.
ذلك هدى الله يهدي به من يشاء من عباده ولو أشركوا لحبط عنهم ما كانوا يعملون.
Okay, and that is the guidance of God. He guides with it whoever he wills from his slaves. But if they had associated partners, then surely it would have been worthless for them what they used to do. Their good deeds would have been wasted if they had associated any others with God.
أولئك الذين آتيناهم الكتاب والحكم والنبوة فإن يكفر بها
Okay. Those are the ones we gave them the book and the judgment and the prophethood. But if the disbelieves in it, those people, so it's not talking about the prophets themselves, but the people of those prophets, then indeed we have entrusted with it to a people that who are not therein, who are, ليسوا بها
who
بكافرين,
are not who would not
who
disbelieve
will never
in
disbelieve
it.
in it.
Yeah, and it can mean that it can be referring to these prophets, to the 18 prophets that were just mentioned, that these people will not disbelieve in these signs and this and the book and the wisdom they have been given. And also I read an interesting explanation that it can refer to angels, that angels are keeping this knowledge. And overall, I think it just means that there will always be people who will guard this knowledge and wisdom and belief.
But it's just the tensing is confusing me because it's like those are the ones who we gave the book and the judgment and the prophethood. But if disbelieve in it, if the people disbelieve in it, then we have entrusted it to a people that will never disbelieve, never be disbelievers, who are not in it
Who
disbelieving.
will not disbelieve in it. Who will not disbelieve in it.
So I don't get,
Who
but
will
if
never disbelieve
I don't
in
get
it.
if people disbelieve in it, then we've entrusted it to people who will never believe in it. I don't. If they
I think that
disbelieve-
here it's not referring to the prophets, of course.
No, for sure. But even the people, if the people disbelieve, فإن يكفر
If
بها.
these people disbelieve in it, we have entrusted other people, some people,
Oh, okay.
to always
we have entrusted
preserve
someone
it.
else. We have
So
entrusted.
this people can be referring to these prophets, or it can be referring to angels, or it can be just referring to
Okay.
some group of people who will always believe and who will always guard the book and
So
the
we had
wisdom and the.
If some people disbelieve in it, then we have entrusted in it some other people that who
Yeah.
are not going to disbelieve. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it means. Yes.
Sure.
And there is also another interpretation actually, that if the people of the earth, it's also referring to the angels, that if the people of the earth disbelieve in it, there will always be the people of the heavens that will believe in it. Or like, it's not very clear like which two
Which people
groups
there are.
we're talking about, but this is the general meaning. Yeah.
أولئك الذين هدى الله فبهداه مقتده قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إن هو إلا ذكرى للعالمين.
Okay, I see that the translation is talking that this is the Quran, but I don't think that this is the Quran, because so far what interesting thing is it mentioned all those prophets and messengers,
Yeah.
but it did not mention Muhammad.
It was not mentioned in these verses. Yes.
Yeah, no,
It was
he's
not-
mentioned
it was
in
not
other verses.
specifically mentioned here. Yeah.
And then now it says those are the ones who have been guided from God. Oh, maybe it's talking about the previous verse.
Yeah.
The ones that are
Yeah.
those have been guided by God. So their guidance
So be
فهداهم.
guided by their guidance.
So of their guidance.
Follow their guidance.
Follow. Say, do not ask. I do not ask on you any reward. Indeed, it is just a reminder for the worlds.
Yeah.
So, but like I do love that it does translate to the Quran, because I have the Quran at home that says not for sale, just to be given freely, which I think is very beautiful.
Yeah.
And that Quran and the scripture should be freely made available to everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why I have Quran. I was very happy that I had like Quran.com with translations. I'm like, wow, how am I getting such a great service for free? Like, that's kind of wild. But yeah, that's kind of, it can refer to the Quran, but I think it refers to guidance in general and the messages of the prophets and messengers that were shared before.
Yeah, I think this verse is specifically talking to the prophet, I believe. So it says like these prophets were to Muhammad. So it says these prophets were guided. So follow their guidance and say, I'm not asking any reward for you for this Quran. It's just a reminder to the whole world.
I kind of get that, but it's not specifically mentioning A, the prophets, B, that the guidance is the Quran. I understand what that means, and I
Yeah.
understand that connection, but it's just not being specific.
Yeah.
وما قدر الله حق قدره إذ قالوا ما أنزل الله على بشر من شيء قل من أنزل الكتاب الذي جاء به موسى نورا وهدى للناس تجعلونه قراطيس تبدونها وتخفون كثيرا وعلمتم ما لم تعلموا أنتم ولا آباؤكم قل الله ثم ذرهم في خوضهم يلعبون.
Okay. And they have not appraised God, the true appraisal. They have not given God his due diligence or his right. When they said, it has not been revealed by God on humanity from anything. So God is not revealed to humans. They're not given God his justly appraisal by saying that he hasn't brought anything down on humanity. And what you should say is, say from what he has revealed in the book, that which he brought with it to Moses.
Yeah, because here it says in the interpretations that this is something that was actually mentioned by someone, by a Jew at some point to the prophet, that when the prophet says like this has been revealed to me, then this Jew came and said nothing has been revealed from God to humanity from before. And then here the verse says, so then answer or tell him, then from where did the book
The
that
book of
Moses
Moses
brought,
which was
where was it brought from?
Yeah.
The book here, it refers to the Torah
The Torah,
that was revealed to Moses.
which is a light and a guidance to people.
Yeah.
You make it into parchments, and you disclose some of it while you conceal much of it. And you were taught what you ما لم تعلموا. You were taught what you
don't
didn't know. For you yourself and not your forefathers. Say God. قل الله.
Yeah, this is an answer. So
Say God.
yeah, because he was asking the Jew, like, so from where did this book come from that you have been given, that Moses has been given, and that you were given, and that where you learned a lot of things that you didn't know from. So and then say the answer is
Say God.
it's God who brought.
Where did you
who
get this
revealed
book?
it.
Where did you get this revelation? Say it from God.
Yeah.
Then leave them in their discourse as they continue to play. So even those that kind of like, oh, but God hasn't brought down anything, just say, look, the guidance that you got from God, that's from God, and then just leave them in their discourse and as they play.
Yeah. Yeah, and here it mentions that they have made it into small karatis, parchments, like meaning that they didn't make it as one big book, but that they, like the priests of the Jewish people or whoever, like made it into like small parts, and then you reveal some and you conceal most of it.
Yeah. Which is a bit interesting.
Yeah.
وهذا كتاب أنزلناه مبارك مصدق الذي بين يديه ولتنذر أم القرى ومن حولها والذين يؤمنون بالآخرة يؤمنون به وهم على صلاتهم يحافظون.
Okay, and this is the book that we have revealed as a blessed and confirming that which came before them in its hands, and to warn the mother of cities
Which is referring to Mecca.
To warn them of their cities from around it,
And what is around
and
it.
who are around it, and those that believe in the hereafter, and they believe in it, and they are on their prayers, guarding over their prayers. This is a blessed book coming revealed, which has come before, so that you may warn the mother of cities and people around it, and those who believe in the hereafter.
Yeah, here it's talking about the Quran, and it says this is a book that we have revealed, because it was talking previously about Muhammad, that the Jew told him there was nothing revealed to you. Here it's talking about the Quran, that it has been revealed by God, and it is to confirm Musaddiq, it is confirming what has come before it, like the books that came before the Quran. It is confirming what is in the Torah and in the Bible, and to warn the mother of the cities. Here they say it's referring to Mecca, because the Prophet also came at first. I think he was within. This is the people that he was among at the beginning of his message, so that he was warning the people of Mecca and the people from around it, not only this part of the world, but also the people around it, and those who believe in the hereafter, believe in it.
Yeah.
And pray and keep their pray and guard their prayers, or keep their prayers.
Yeah.
ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو قال أوحي إلي ولم يوحى إليه شيء ومن قال سأنزل مثل ما أنزل الله ولو ترى إذ الظالمون في غمرات الموت والملائكة باسطوا أيديهم أخرجوا أنفسكم اليوم تجزون عذاب الهون بما كنتم تقولون على الله غير الحق وكنتم عن آياته تستكبرون.
Okay. And we've seen this before, but it's good to kind of cover it. And who is more unjust than those who invent over God lies? They invent lies about God. Or that was said that it has been inspired to me, so God has inspired me, while they were not inspired.
Yeah, and it refers here in the interpretation to someone called Musaylama, who claimed he was a prophet, but he was not a prophet. So here it says, like, who does more injustice than saying something wrong about God, or says that he's like he was inspired of God, but or he's a prophet and he is not.
Yeah. And whoever says, I will reveal like what has been revealed by God.
Yeah, and there are also a couple of names mentioned in the interpretations of people who said, I can actually come up with words like the ones that are in the Quran, and I can bring the same thing.
Yeah. And if you could see that when the wrongdoers are in agonies of death, and while the angels are stretching out their hands, they discharge, they leave themselves, they release themselves.
Yeah, this is talking, I think, about death, that you see these people in the فغمرات الموت means like in the waves of
the agonies of death.
And the agonies of death, or like within the waves of death in a way. And then the angels are stretching out their arms in a way. I think that it is an image to taking away their souls. To take away their souls. I think that's what it means. And then you would say that today is the day that you will get what you deserve, and that you will be punished for what you were saying wrongly on God, about God.
What you're saying wrongly about God. And you were towards his verses arrogant.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's talking about what will happen to them, the ones that lie and pretend that they're guided by God.
Yeah.
ولقد جئتمونا فرادا كما خلقناكم أول مرة وتركتم ما خولناكم وراء ظهوركم وما نرى معكم شفعاءكم الذين زعمتم أنهم فيكم شركاء لقد تقطع بينكم وضل عنكم ما كنتم تزعمون.
Alright, and the last verse for today. And certainly you come to us alone as we created you for the first
so
time.
this is referring to death again, like
Yeah.
after your death. So here you are, you're coming alone, the same way that you were born,
Yeah.
also alone.
And you leave behind whatever was bestowed upon you from behind your backs. So everything that you had goes behind you, and this is talking about death. When you come back, everything behind you that you own, you're going to come to us as you came with nothing.
Your kids, your parents, your friends, your families, your money,
possessions,
your possessions, everything that you had in this world, it will not be with you anymore. It will all be behind you.
And we will not see from you any intercessions. No one's going to get intercede on your behalf. Those who you claimed that they were in your matters partners, so those who you associated other than God, and it has been severed between you,
the bonds,
and it has lost over you what you used to claim. Whatever you say, all your claims have let you down. So it's a continuation of that book. So makes sense to fear God, not to fear. You should fear not fearing God in a weird way. Yeah. But that concludes our session for today. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the channel. As always, please, if you've reached this far, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and other people can see it. And we thank you for joining us along this journey. We always end with Sadaq Allahu al-Ali al-Azim, which means trusted is the word of God, almighty and all high and elevated. Thank you. Love you. Ma'as salam.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.